let's get to the main story today. Deshaun Watson has returned to practice. He returned to practice today. I don't know how much he's going to throw, but the beat reporters and everybody else is going to get an opportunity for him to go out here and talk about whether or not he threw the football or not, how he looked or whatever. They don't get to watch all of the practices, but they'll get to see little pieces and parts they do. I'm anxious to see what they say coming up about that. But the big story was yesterday, he came out and he said, he talked about some things. And I'm actually glad for the brother to come out and do that. You know why? Because I was starting to get a little bit annoyed about some of these, like the press is corny. Like, and I don't want to rag on the press all the time, but they do corny stuff, man. Like, Deshaun Watson, they're like, they believe almost like because he got $230 million, that dictates he got to act exactly the way they want people to act. People is coming up, some of my colleagues talking about, he should just do that for his teammates because his teammates got to answer the same question. I'm like, man, listen, and let me just give you this. Let me just see how dumb this is. I work with a lot of people in the radio station, right? I work with a lot of people at Tegna WKYC. I work with a lot of people in a lot of different capacities. If one of my teammates is sick, they may have COVID, they may have some stuff going on with their family. If people keep asking me or fans keep asking me, hey, what's going on with Jay? Hey, what's going on with Adam Bull? Hey, what's going on with Dustin Fox? Hey, what's going on with Ken Carman? If they keep asking me that in my timeline, it takes me no time at all to type, hey, man, I think he's dealing with some personal stuff right now. I'll be praying for him. I don't know when he's going to be back. G. Bush, what's going on with so-so? I mean, I think something going on with his, he may be sick a little bit. I talked to him a couple of days ago. He's trying to get back, but I just hope he get better. It's that easy. It's that simple. But what they be trying to do, they think they so slick. They think they so slick and smart. It'd be so funny to me. It don't be that you worried about their teammates answering questions. You don't care nothing about their teammates or what they go through for answering questions. You want the pound of flesh. You want to pound the table and say, what's going on with this and what's going on that? And why haven't you done this? And haven't you? Listen, for so long, we act like the media is the judge, jury, executioner. Because now everything goes in a court of public opinion and they understand that they can sway different personalities and different thought processes about people. So if he doesn't answer what's going on with him, we all just want to know. Bro, you're an adult. You're a grown man. There's too many grown men out here falling out in the street. Oh my gosh, I can't believe he doesn't say anything. And $230 million does not give you the avenue to think that he's going to do what you want him to do. At the end of the day, he's here to play football. I wish people would stop with that stupid talking point of $230 million because it's starting to sound like either A, you're jealous, B, you don't know what's going on because it's 7, 8, 9 quarterbacks making more money than him. Now, but it's the guaranteed dollars. No. Let's just call a spade a spade. If you don't like Deshaun Watson, just come on and say, man, I don't like some of the stuff surrounding him. His game ain't really been hitting like that in the last couple of weeks. Just say it. Stop tiptoeing and putting it on there. I would respect you as a stand-up individual if you just say, you know what, he ain't my cup of tea. That's it. Long answer. And we'll get back to what we talk about right now. He did return to practice. And what I did love about what he said was, look, he answered all the questions. He talked about what's wrong with his arm. He talked about what was wrong with his shoulder. He talked about what his timetable was. And now, since you've heard it, you can be quiet and you can figure out when he's going to play because he just told you right here. Now, if you keep asking the question, that's up to you. Let's take a look at it and see what he said. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Watson goes on to say, I think so, Watson said Wednesday when asked if he'll suit up per NBC Sports. It just depends on the process of the medical stuff and the treatment and the rehab we've been doing day to day. It's up in the air for sure. So, okay, so you don't put it's up in the air. Don't look anything into it. Do you know what up in the air means? Nothing solid or concrete. When exactly will Watson's shoulder be healed enough to justify his return to the lineup? He says, I'm not sure, the QB said Wednesday. This is my first time dealing with a rotator cuff. It could be tomorrow. It could be Sunday. It could be 2 weeks from now. I'm not sure. I can't put a timeline on anything right now. That seems pretty self-explanatory, does it not? I'm glad you came out, Deshaun Watson, and put all the rest to bed. So when people keep bringing this stuff up, trying to start the tabloids, all that good stuff, I could just refer you to Exhibit A right here. Well, I don't understand his teammates. No, Exhibit A right here. Well, what does he really have in his shoulder? I don't know what's going on. Is it a bruise, contusion? I don't know, G. Bush. Right here, Exhibit A. No speculating. Here it is. At the end of the day, now we could move on and talk about football, and we shall do so. Let's get to this. Would you play Deshaun Watson at less than 100%? It's a tough one. I've struggled with this. Shout out to Bernie Kosar, who was in studio. Great show today. Shout out, if you got an opportunity, go check that interview out. Bernie was with us for 2 hours. He broke down. He was part of the panel on UCSS. Great show today. He talked about having this injury, this specific injury, when it comes to the rotator cuff. He said something that was very keen, and I love the fact that we are able to have guys like Bernie on who have had that specific injury, who know what it feels like as a quarterback. You're not getting that nowhere. That's why I big up a lot of different places of what we do. Like, it's a lot of people. You're not getting there. I got an opportunity to sit right next to Bernie and say, listen, Bernie, what are you worried about with that injury? He says, listen, the injury is not about pain. He said, trust me, I've had a lot of surgeries, G. The injury is not about pain. It's about the inaccuracy. He said the rotator cuff injury does not allow you to have the control that you want on the football, does not allow you to have the accuracy that you want. He said 10 to 15 passes that he would throw a game would be errant. He even came down, which was a crazy point. He said, I came back earlier this season, right? And it was like week 15, I came back. And I might be paraphrasing, go check the interview out. But he said, I was able to play 2 really good games, the last 2 games of the season. One of them was against the Houston Oilers to win the division. Then he goes on to say, we went on to play, I believe in that series, he talked about playing the Buffalo Bills, right? He says, in that game against the Buffalo Bills, I kind of tweaked it again. And he said, going to the AFC Championship game, I sailed 3 or 4 passes that was wide open. And he said, I couldn't do nothing about it. I was shot. I couldn't, at that point, I didn't have the control I want. I didn't have the accuracy. And he was like, there will be a hitching motion, which is an involuntary motion in my shoulder that would cause me to sail the ball, underthrow the ball. And there was nothing I could do about it because those injuries just take time to heal. So from my perspective, I'm looking at it what Bernie is saying. And I said, well, is there a chance or an opportunity that you can re-injure that based on a non-contact throw? Or is it more dangerous to have a hit and getting drove into the ground and hurting it? He said, well, if you come back too soon, it's definitely something that could happen in terms of a micro tear, which Deshaun Watson has, that he could possibly tear that even more with a non-contact throw. Now, for me, the scary thing for me is not the hits, right? He's going to have to be smart. Obviously, Kevin Stefanski can't be running the ball with him. Obviously, if he's going to be scrambling, he's going to need to be either sliding or getting out of bounds, either or. But my thing is, if you bring him back too early, the adrenaline gets to running. He drops back. It's a 3rd and 15. And he goes to pull that shoulder back and try to drive the ball downfield, or some of the deep comebacks, or some of the deep outs, on some of the deep balls that he's going to throw, maybe trying to get a deep ball or a shot play, he could actually tear his rotator cuff because of the torque that he's putting on that arm. And so when Deshaun Watson also says, I didn't have it on the graphic, he says, I'm not sure if I'm going to be 100% all season. That's a little scary to me. It's a little scary to me because I understand what it is not to play 100% the rest of the season. To be truthful, once 2-a-days practice start, you're never at 100%. You're never at 100%. However, I'm more comfortable the closer I can get him to being 100%. If he doesn't have any pain throwing, it's just accuracy issues. We are now in a point where Well, back to the Baker Mayfield situation. If he could deal with the pain, the unintended consequences of playing him are errant throws, not being accurate, not being able to get anything on the ball, missing open receivers, turnovers because of ball security. And those things could cost the team in the long run. So there's a really big question here. Give or take, when do you bring him back and what is the soft spot? For me, I'm going to give you this, and I want you guys to get your questions ready. Go ahead and put them in the comment section. We're coming right to you. We want to get your thoughts. Could Deshaun Watson risk further injury? And what game would you bring him back? Let me know what game you would bring him back. Also, let me know if it's not the Colts game, the next game is against Seattle, and then the next game is against the Cardinals, and then there's a November game where we at Baltimore. So those are your next 4 games. The next 4 games are the Colts, Seahawks, Cardinals, and the Ravens. Let me know where you would go with that. For me, I'll take a look at it, and my understanding of it is I wouldn't bring him back today against the Colts. I just wouldn't. To me, I think it's a game that you can sneak and win. I think it's a game that if your defense plays well and PJ Walker doesn't turn the football over, I think the Colts are one-dimensional. We'll talk about what the defense is going to be able to do to them coming up in the next round, in the next break. But I think this is a game you can win without Deshaun Watson, and you could possibly steal another week. If he says he's 75% and he waits another week and I can get him to roughly 85%, I'll take that, because now he can protect himself better. I don't have to really necessarily think about the throws where he tears his rotated cuff just by pushing the ball downfield. He's out of those woods. He still has to be mindful of sliding, doing and running and all that other good stuff. So that's where I stand with it. What is your thoughts? What do you say? We're going to get to your comments. When do you bring Deshaun Watson back? I say at the earliest is next week. To be honest with you, if they wanted to be super conservative, I wouldn't have a problem if they said, "Listen, we're gonna ride you out. You're not gonna play against the Colts. You're not gonna play against the Seahawks. You're not gonna play against the Cardinals. That's a home game. We feel we can win that game, and we'll bring you back against the Ravens." Now that's super conservative, and obviously Deshaun has a lot to say in that in terms of his body and how he feels. But to me, I would not play him tomorrow. What do you say? Let's get to the comment sections right now.